by the president. We came later to learn that most of the provisions still made their way through some other bills in Parliament. And at the end of it, Kenyans wonder, okay, fine, even if we give our opinion and say we don't want this, it will still find its way through. Don't you think that that could in itself be a reason why people are no longer interested in the budget-making process? After all, our views will not be taken anywhere.
Edemore, what I would say is that the major cause of you not very concerned in this particular element is that remember the government came out in a very strong bang, and youth faced a lot of pain. And remember abductions and also kidnaps also, and also deaths occurred. And every human is a human and has to, when the fear is sold on that manner, most of them can buy that fear. And I would say that pressure and force from the national, from the state is the major fear to youth, because everybody fears for his life. And when you come out, and as Wakili has explained very well, you come out to take the public through, then you are targeted. Those targets are very clear. And
do you feel as a member of parliament that if at all you came out and talked about something that you feel should concern Kenyans, that you would also experience the same kind of
What
fear?
happens is that Idemoli, sometimes this country, if this country we had know those committed, forceful and fearless men, even the colony couldn't be still in this country. And therefore, you need those people who are fearless. Some people like ourselves, we are at a state where there's nothing you fear. Goes the next thing is death, and nothing beyond that. You have done your part, but not everybody can be able to wear that shoe. Also, it's a painful route. And remember, this government, even though it gives a lot of assurance that that kind of witch hunt is going to come to a stop, it is still happening. You still find that in Nyandarua, like a week ago, they all kidnapped a politician from that end who ended up at Suswa, facing a lot of painful pressure. So it is still there, and it's only those few who are strong enough can sustain that. Otherwise, I would say what the national government has been doing to these youths is to silence them and make sure that they are not anywhere, and to target and directly targeting them. And if this
Mr. still has not answered your question. No. Your question to him is now, has he read the Finance Bill 2026 and he takes the podium?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you concerned that if at all, as a member of parliament, you or your colleagues, that if at all you went out and tried to explain to Kenyans some of the concerns you have about this budget, that you'd still be fearful for your own security?
What I can do, Demori, I told you, and I will repeat that we have nothing to fear.
Okay.
I can take that mental, I can explain it anywhere. Like tomorrow, I'm in the public participation, I will do so. Because it will be Nairobi, and I will participate, I will be able to express myself, and therefore I will fear nothing.
All right.
And I think Honorable Gakuya has answered it so well, that MPs are approaching it the way they're approaching it without fearing anything, because it's their mandate as elected leaders to do that. And I want to emphasize on the reason as to why there is no 2024. Because at that time...
Not necessarily agitation. It's just the need to understand the process, yes, and probably even share the knowledge with other people who may not understand.
The difference is this. At that time, there was poor communication from the minister, from the Treasury. There was poor communication, and several versions of the bill came out in the name of inciting people. There are people who deliberately wanted to incite people against the government. So they created different versions of the bill to incite the people against the government.
For the sake of your
therefore, yes, for that reason, when we have the new minister, the Honorable Mbadi, you've seen him communicating and saying this is the only version of the bill that is available to the public to read. So the difference is in the leadership of the Treasury, as far as I'm concerned.
So they've communicated better now, and Kenyans understand this.
Yes, and I think what we should be focusing on is on whether, because paying taxes is a must, and all countries pay taxes to run their affairs. So it's not wrong for the government to ask for the taxes to be paid. We should be concerned about whether these taxes are being used well or not. I think that should be the main point of concern. We cannot complain that people being taxed is wrong, for as long as it's being done in a fair and equitable manner as provided for in the Constitution.
For example, there's a fuel levy of 25 shillings a litre, and now the proposal is to have an extra 5% of that,
Fred,
a further 5 shillings of that securitized for another loan. Do you think Kenyans understand this and what impact it has?
No, I don't think so. You see,
because Fwamba says they understand it better because of better communication from Treasury.
He's speaking for his benefactors. So there is no way. He's saying that there's a different minister. Therefore, this minister has That's all right. I mean, they are defending him. I wouldn't defend him because he has not told you about the tax policies that he's bringing. All that he did when he was introducing, they said, just about Mitumba. How about the plastics, for instance? Plastics we use all over. And then, we have, if you look at the memorandum in the Finance Bill 2026, you see now the tax of 10%, they say there, is because of, climate change mitigation. Come on. Climate change mitigation, and like I said, that they who are preaching the climate change mitigation are not they themselves mitigating to the degree that you're mitigating. Your own people are engaged in this self-destruction. So the tax policies that he's supposed to, by law, to have now told the Kenyan people, by the way, this 25% tax on your gadgets will be imposed because we want to do this and we want to do that. And this is the end game. This is what we want to achieve.
Fwamba believes that communication has been made.
It hasn't been made. It hasn't. The tax policies on all those areas.
He has to communicate.
We don't have it
in the layman's language.
Has he? That's a question.
And that's what he did yesterday.
Oh.
He was communicating in a language that is understood by every person.
On the news bulletin that we just watched.
But by the way, again, why are we so much concerned about this taxation regime under President William Ruto? Yet, in 2003, when President Mwai Kibaki took over, it was a patriotic duty. In fact, the call was kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. So our interest was
during that time
to develop the country. And that's the kind of patriotism that we need to encourage.
There was no looting. There was no looting.
You cannot quantify and justify what is looting and what is not. There was Anglo-leasing during Kibaki's time. So why do we have double standards that we want to collect taxes during Kibaki's time?
Understanding the budget, because
time you are complaining and saying that you don't want to pay taxes.
Get me right. My conversation is about the level of understanding of the budget-making process. Are you saying that Kenyans should not bother?
I've not said that.
I've not finding out what happened.
I've not said that. I've said Kenyans are getting to levels of understanding because of the kind of communication from the government that is happening that never happened in the previous arrangement. So there's a difference. So based on that kind of trust, Kenyans are confident that we are moving towards the right direction.
All right.
Because budget-making process is not just done by every Tom, Dick, and Harry. It is done by experts and explained to wananchi to understand what is inside the budget.
Right. So as a mwananchi, do you understand the budget estimates of the year 2026, 2027? Have you bothered to find out what taxation measures are being proposed through the Finance Bill 2026? What is your feeling? The National Assembly has invited Kenyans who have opinions on this to send their memoranda between yesterday and the 25th of this month, at least in as far as the Finance Bill is concerned, on the taxation measures. Also, public participation on the budget estimates, Bonagakuya says, is ongoing. Yes. Have you given your memoranda or your comments or opinions on the same?
That's what you should be interrogated.
That's the question we're asking today. My conversation was about the level of awareness by Kenyans. It's a question you need to ask yourself as a civic duty. Do you understand the budget-making process, especially in this year's process? As we wrap up this State of the Nation debate, I want us to talk about some politics.